There is a story that has going around the internet on apparently more than one channel, which I guess is based on some sort of folklore, and it exists in multiple versions, as folklore often does. I don't know if it's folklore, urban legend. Well, probably folklore. It takes place in the deep south. Okay, and the basic outline of the story is that Jean-Baptiste Broussard, that's a very common Louisiana name. Broussard is a French name, very common in Louisiana. He was very damaged by being in combat in World War One, and he wanted to isolate his family from the temptations and sins of the city. So he takes his family out to basically a very remote part of Louisiana that's beside a swamp, where him and his family basically don't have any contact at all with anyone else. They just live in a shack and they eat off the land. They, fish, hunt, gather fruit, and that sort of thing. Okay, now, since there aren't any other people around and they want to have more Broussards, naturally, they have to get more Broussards from other Broussards. Brother, sister, uncle, niece, aunt, nephew, make babies together. And as might be expected, the babies come out with not looking quite normal. And this goes on for multiple generations. And as it goes on for multiple generations, the babies keep getting more deformed, more defective, having more and more health problems, which in fact does happen if you have several generations of incest. Okay. The other thing, though, that happens, at least in this story, and again, it's is that the Broussards also take to cannibalism. In one version, that's because of a drought, a very severe drought, and they're driven to cannibalism initially because they can't find anything to eat. And I personally find that rather doubtful given where the story is situated. It's in a desert, I can believe that. If it was maybe in a snowbound place, I can believe that. But by a swamp? Okay, one of the versions, though, they take to cannibalism because Jean-Baptiste Broussard just decides that it's some sort of communion with the family, that the family should, give back to itself or complete itself or something. He has some sort of religious justification for cannibalism. And so the Broussards are multi-generational incestuous, and then they start eating their dead. They don't become murderers, though, at least in the stories I've that I've heard, the two versions, they don't, well, it's not clear at least that they become murderers. In both the stories, they are discovered and brought back to what you might call the real world by a social worker named Margaret Hebert. But the thing about it is, in one version, Margaret Hebert survives her encounter with the Broussards and later talks about them decades later when she's dying of lung cancer. In another version, she seems to be so appalled by what she sees that somehow she drowns. Or they, anyway, the other